how to create a very colourful design like this using a basic shape and also the halftone filter. Go over here to the shapes. I'm going to go with a diamond shape. Select the colour fill, grey, whatever, blue, doesn't particularly matter. So just apply it like that. Then go to filters and then go down to colours and down to halftone. I always like the defaults. Do you ever find an issue with this? It would be great if you could set it so it save the last used one. I do not know how to do that. Maybe there is a way of doing that. If you could put in the comments if you know how to stop it from going back to monochrome. I don't want monochrome. I will always want colour as the default. However, what you can also do is round, and likewise round of course. And you can change the cell size. So once you've done that, once you've set all the screen angle, I'm happy with that design. I'm going to apply another effect because I think this is a nice design, but I don't want that. I want a nice zoom out effect. So I'm just going to go for filters, blur, and zoom blur. And I can put that in the center. I'm just going to place that in the center there. You can just move that around. You could have it over that side. And also you can set it beyond that 100. It's very weird. Also another issue with Affinity is that it always puts it like to 100 and the slider says there, but you can actually just put like 400 or maybe 300. So I'm just going to go with that. That's perfectly reasonable. So I've got that nice sort of blurred zooming out design. And of course you can sometimes, depending on how high you've set it, apply it again. But you might, well, that's actually quite reasonable. You get too far and it will just end up not looking very much anything. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm just going to duplicate this design. So hold down the Alt or Option key. Also, if you wish, you can use Layer and Duplicate. I don't know about you, do you use Alt or Option key? I prefer Alt or Option key, but maybe Duplicate Layer, perfectly reasonable as well. And of course you can also, if you wish, you can always just change blending mode, maybe go for lighten and so on and so on. Just create a whole range of different colourful designs like that. And if, of course, always the way, you can just spot a little bit of an area there where you can't see and it was still white. So I've got that design there. Now I can go over here and I can select all of these. All selected, then I can merge them. So I'm just going to go to a layer and I'm going to go for merge visible. Merge, the other one, merge selected, never seems to work in the way that I think it should. It always seems to somehow crop it in a very unusual way. So I always go generally for merge visible. So it does have a tendency, of course, to leave all of these layers. And I'm just going to remove those now. So I've just got that design there. Well, I can distort that, but I also can turn it into a pattern. I could do the distort, of course, first, but I'm going to go for a pattern. So layer, make certain you've got it selected. That's a key thing. Go for new pattern layer from selection. But you can go over here to mirror in the top left. I really like that option. So I just put mirror on and I can resize this design. So I can just move around like that. It would be nice if you could actually change the color. I don't know how to do that. It'd be nice if you could sort of, because the pattern color unfortunately sometimes clashes with the actual design. So you just can't see the blue. Sometimes I can really look for it. I'm thinking, where is it? And you can resize, you can rotate it, but you can also go over here to filters and go to distort and deform. And you can add some pins or handles, whatever you want to call them. Some applications call them pins, some call them handles. And you can distort the design. And now what I want is a nice gap. And I'm just going to remove this one so I can see the white. It makes it a bit harder when it's all much the same. So you can distort it, but I want some gaps in there. Like that. Just a lovely sort of nice gap like that. So you've got that beautiful design there. And I could go with similarity. Obviously I've lost the gaps in, but I'm just going to go with rigid this time. So that's a reasonable option as well. Apply, but this is what I want. I want this gap, which I know looks a bit odd because I know unfortunately I've got a slight bit of obviously where I missed something. But what I want to show is this to layers, and you go down to FX. And then just go for outer shadow, select that and change the radius and offset and change the opacity. And again, this will be another thing. Fortunately, there is no option for setting this to be the default, unfortunately, because it creates a nice sort of rippling effect, sort of like curtains or something. You've got sort of the shadow you get in the curtains. You can see that sort of like as if it's fabric sort of on So actually it's not too bad seeing that, I guess. So you can see through. Of course, you could keep the background, which would cover up that, but you would still get those nice lines. That would be quite good as well. So you can close at that point. You can see the design there. And of course, what you can do, you can still resize it. So you can always resize it, of course, to avoid that white anyway. Select the pattern. If you don't select the pattern, so if you don't, suddenly the pattern's not selected, you can't move it. So you always have to go back over here to layers, make certain it's selected, and then you can move it and you can resize. And you can still, if you want to, go over here to filters and distort and deform. And you can still add some pins, and again you can go for similarity or rigid, and you can distort it again. So let's just go for rigid. At least seems to leave some bigger gaps, which is what I wanted. I want some space across there, like that. And again, click apply, and you can just then resize that, and you can see the design there. Hope you found this of interest. Thank you much.